All right, we are back, Working Dog Radio, broadcasting the bite from Canton, Ohio. I am Eric Stamber. With me, as always, from Tulsa, Oklahoma, is Ted Stolen Bite Suit Summers. What the hell are you talking about, man? What's going on over there?
I got this patrol school going on, and we did like this, about a half-mile urban track to a vacant 2-story building that I have the keys to. And then so we tracked it there, do a door ID, building search so it's a whole thing. But it's one of those where it's not, I try and lay them in like a circle or like a U sometimes, so we get like multiple wind directions, and so I don't have to walk forever. But this one's kind of a point to point, so you basically have to walk it back on the other side of the street, and it's a whole deal. Well, my decoy, I didn't want her to have to take the whole suit back, so I was like, I'll just leave it here, we'll come back and pick it up. And part of form for North Tulsa, I mean, we were gone not very long, and it's gone. So
wow.
Yeah, I was tempted to grab one of the patrol dogs in school and track it. And I was like, so that I've been looking for excuses to replace that bite suit for like 4 years, because that thing it was my Whoopie. It's the one with the painting on the back of it. So I called Arnaud today. I was like, yeah, time to officially retire that one. He's like, what happened? I'm like, it got stolen. So I ordered a new one. So I saw you finished your class up today, huh? Certified?
Yeah. It was nice. There was a couple dogs doing their research, and so we just threw Pharaoh in with them, and yeah, it went fine. It was good. Cool. He's got a shift this weekend, and then it starts. Dude, years ago, when I was still at the city, I laid a track for a dog. I don't know. It was like nothing crazy, like a neighborhood quarter-mile track, something like that. And I laid the tug toy at the base of a bush, tree, something, and walked off. And I laid it so that I could walk back around and then follow the handler. And we didn't let it sit. Like, as long as the 3 minutes it took me to walk back to the start, we grabbed the handler, and we got to the bush, that fucker was gone. And I know where it was. This scumbag white trash house right next to it. I know that bastard stole it. They probably thought either they were just dicking with us, or they probably thought we have, the cops, they put drugs in their stuff. That's how they find drugs. They give it to the dog. So they stole it was an ALM tug. They stole an ALM tug and got nothing for it. So is that thunder?
Yes.
Holy shit.
I'm telling you, like, it's raining.
I was like, I thought somebody was playing a giant drum, but
nope, that's thunder.
So yeah, Pharaoh graduated today. It was good. Everything was fine. Travis came down. My buddy Travis came down and decoyed, just so I didn't have to. I didn't feel like getting all stinky. So my bite suit, dude, it stinks. It's from this class, doing it so much and me sweating and everything. So I got to take it maybe tomorrow to this place with this big industrial washing machine and throw it in there while I'm at jiu-jitsu. It's literally right next door. So I might take that over there and get that thing done. One of my pet dog trainers, they come here to the fun house, and they love taking, you guys seen them, they got pictures of the pet dogs. We're sitting where I'm at right now and showing the Working Dog Radio sign. And they pick up my jacket, and they always set it up because it's got the Van Ness Canine logo on the back of it. And the one trainer, she's like, that thing is disgusting. And then all she did was pick it up and move it. I'm like, I am well aware. I put it on. So I know. So anyways, what do we got going on today?
Well,
we got to talk about something.
Oh yeah. Alicia will get pissed if we don't. Yes.
So we've been working with Horizon Structures. You guys have heard the commercials, Mild to Wild, and the prefab build. They will come and stick it up at your place for you to use the day that they bring it in. They'll hook up to your water, your power, and all that other stuff. Throw it on gravel, concrete, whatever you got. And our relationship with them is so good. They have so much success. Thanks to you guys out there listening to us, setting up big contracts and stuff like that. They're going to do, now we don't have all the details. We're giving you this pay attention, watch our social media type deal, because Horizon and has been talking to Alicia, and they're putting together some big, massive giveaway. Like, I don't know what it is. You can imagine with Horizon Structures that it's something big. And then I think we're trying to get Ray Allen in there, and pretty much most of our sponsors all dialed in and tied in to this big, huge giveaway. So Ted and I, we don't know anything, right?
No, I think they did say it's going to be like a single dog for like a handler, that like it'll be one of the gangster, indoor, outdoor things. So it's got power in it. And
yeah.
So
that'll be cool as shit. This episode is brought to you by KINETIC Dog Food, KINETICDogFood.com. Ted and I love it, man. It's such a really, really good high performance dog food, but Also, their 24K formula, we use it for training. It is amazing. A nice big piece. No chicken in that particular formula. So if you get a new dog in from Europe, you don't know if he's allergic or not, don't worry about it. Check it out, KINETICdogfood.com.
Our friends out in North Carolina at Highland Canine Training run great green and finished dog programs, as well as an online and in-person police supervisor course. Hit them up at highlandcaninetraining.com. That's letter K number 9, highlandcanine.com. 30% off the discount code WDR30.
This episode also brought to you by Horizon Structures, horizonstructures.com. They will custom build you a kennel, drop it off, hook it up to your water and electric, and have that thing run with dogs in it the same day. They can custom build one. They got some already pre-built. Check them out on their website, horizonstructures.com. Anything you need from mild to wild, they're there.
One of the longtime supporters of the show has been Ray Allen Canine in Colorado Springs, Colorado. They've been around forever. RayAllen.com, where you can buy literally everything but the handler of the dog and the patrol vehicle. Everything else you can get from them. Hit them up, WDR10RAY for 10% off your order. That's WDR, the numbers 10 RAY.
One of our longest sponsors is Dogtra, Dogtra Official, Dogtra.com. We love Dogtra. Their products are so good. Their e-collars, their ball poppers. Ted uses all kinds of different things at his place, from pet dog e-collars to working dog e-collars. He loves the hands-free 1900S. They've come out with some new models lately and an amazing new bark collar called the Smart Bark Collar. Check them out, dogtra.com, WDR10 for 10% off a single item over $200, dogtra.com.
Somebody that's been with us since the beginning is Arnaud out in Vegas at ALM Canine Equipment. If you follow me on social media, you see me wearing my ALM suits all the time. It's all I wear. I've got several of them. Eric's got several of them. We love Arnaud. We love ALM, custom made in Vegas. WDR or WD Radio for 10% off. That's WD Radio for 10% off. ALM Canine Equipment. That's letter K number 9, ALMcanineequipment.com.
So we really thank those folks there and all our wonderful sponsors getting together and hooking that up. I'm sure while I'm talking, our sponsors have interrupted me. And the ads are playing right now, and they got to come back into it. But anyways, back to where we were. What's going on tonight?
So tonight, we have a guy that I've interacted, like both of us have interacted with him quite a bit on social media for a long time. And it's another one of these guys that like I talk to, and then I'm like, yeah, let's do an interview. And then we like something happens and we don't do it. And then I come back. And so tonight we have Oscar Trevino. Oscar, what's going on, man?
What's going on, man? Nice to meet you guys in person, finally.
Yeah, for sure. So give us a little bit of your history, a little bit of your background, and then we'll start talking about puppies, and we'll talk about a dog that you raised that went to a unit for the feds, and we'll go from there.
Absolutely. Well, I started my law enforcement career in the city of Calhoun, Texas, back in 1995. I joined that department, was lucky enough to have the senior guys there take me under their wing. I worked with Anderson County Narcotics Task Force there, where I quickly picked up on a love and a passion for working drugs. And there I got introduced to canine. I was not a canine handler, but I was the dummy that would put on the suit and go hide in a building, and in the middle of the night, since we were a midnight shift, and kind of trained that way. So that's where I kind of got started with dog training. Shortly after that, I went to go work for the city of McAllen, Texas, as a cop down there. And finally, in 2001, I joined the Border Patrol. Got stationed down here in Laredo, Texas. I'm going to say maybe 2002. I joined the canine program. I got paired up with my first dog, Rico. Was fortunate enough that dog kind of gave me a good reputation because he was hot, started catching a lot of dope. We ended up being one of the few teams that got over 200 drug seizures in a short time. So after that, the opportunity arose to go get certified as a trainer. And I joined the ranks of the training unit. The radio sector has maybe about 100 to 150 dog teams at a time. So basically in charge of training all those dogs, doing other maintenance training, and putting on some homeschools and things like that when we didn't have enough slots over at the Canine Academy. I'm going to say 2008, I ended up promoting to supervisor, stayed within the canine program though. I started training other agencies, local and state. I became a certifying official with NNDDA. And back in, I'm going to say 2016, 2017, I was made the canine coordinator where I managed the whole unit. And then shortly after, I joined the patrol canine team and went up there and got trained as a patrol handler and got paired up with my last dog, which was Kassan. I retired in 2021 after all the nonsense with the previous administration. So I retired as soon as I could. I turned 50 years old and took advantage, gave myself that birthday present as the retired from law enforcement. I got involved in dog sports and Title II dogs in the civilian world. And I continue to help out police officers with their dogs here and there. Not as much as I would like to, but it's still up there. And that's pretty much it, man. That's a quick rundown of what I've been doing.
All right, this episode is brought to you in part by KINETIC Dog Food, KINETICdogfood.com. We've been using KINETIC for quite a while at the kennel here at Torchlight. We feed the 26 and the 28K formula in feeding for the dogs all over there, but I also use the 24K for all of my imprinting for obedience and imprinting for tracking. If you follow me, you've seen me do the tracking stuff where I do the Dick Stahl method, who we've also had on the show. But it's great because it's large and it doesn't get greasy and gross in the pouch. I've seen a lot of dudes with drop pouches that look like they're carrying dirty socks around, and it's disgusting. This doesn't do that. It's not greasy. Also, it's not a chicken-based formula, so if you get dogs in from Europe, you're not sure if the stomach is going to handle it. And it's a fairly low calorie version too, so you can do 1,000,000 reps and not have to worry about dog getting fat. KINETICdogfood.com. Also, we've had the guys on the show before and they talk about it, but they do a lot to make sure that the protein bases are nice and pure and that the stuff that they're adding to it actually adds additive to it. And they're not filling it with pocket lint and sawdust like a lot of other foods. So hit them up, KINETICdogfood.com.
So you at Palestine in 95, you started young. You were like what, 20, the early 20s?
I was 23 when I started.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So I started in 96 at my department. I started smaller departments about the same time, age wise. I'm a little bit older. Yeah, it was just math. I was like, man, you were a baby when you started down there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Now you must have really had a passion to go to Border Patrol, because that had to be quite a paycheck in that year, right? Pay cut.
As a pay jump?
Yeah, as a pay cut.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Man, when I started down there in Palestine, I think I was making, I would say maybe $21,000 a year.
Yeah,
it was a small department, and it was shit pay. And then when I went to McAllen, as a matter of fact, I think I even took a pay cut.
Oh, shit. I didn't expect that.
Yeah. But no, Border Patrol was actually a pretty good job for me. And that's kind of where I stopped working all the extra jobs, doing security for Walmart and banks, that kind of stuff.
They didn't used to pay very well. Way back in the day, I looked into the Border Patrol. I was like, I started at $11.10 an hour at my department. So $23,011. And I can't remember what year it was. I just looking around, looking at Border Patrol. I was like, damn it, man! Like that.
So it's kind of weird if people look into the Border Patrol pay scale, you might get put off because it's not showing you everything you make. I think even what's advertised, you got to add another 25% of that. Back then we used to call it AUO, and now they came up with a new pay thing. I think it's called Border Patrol Reform Pay or something like that. But it's an extra 25% just for availability. Yeah, and then locality pays. So it ends up being, I think when I started in Border Patrol, I probably went, like I said, I went from like 21,000 really quick into the $70,000-$80,000 a year.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
All you young guys are a little disenfranchised by being treated like a child at your local municipality police department. Take a look at Border Patrol. You might like it. That's why I always say to people, and I'm sure this is not the same for all federal agencies, or maybe it is, but anytime I've dealt with feds, I was on the task force, the FBI task force, they always treated you like an adult. And I always felt that the regular local police departments treat you like a freaking kid. So anyways, something to think about. Did you have to go through a full Border Patrol Academy?
Yeah, absolutely. I think back then it was probably 6 months.
We had a kid that left our department and went to the Border Patrol and failed at the academy. And he was on the street here. He went through the local academy, got on our department, went there and failed.
Was it the Spanish?
What's that?
Was it Spanish?
I don't know. I don't know why I failed. I just remember seeing him at some other department somewhere and found out that he had failed. He was a tool. So, anyways, I mean,
So
maybe it was, you guys treat like man tracking there, right?
Yeah, we call it sign cutting. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's good stuff though. It's a fun job.
Yeah.
At the beginning though, I'll tell you, it for those guys that are law enforcement and then they jump into Border Patrol, it's completely a different job.
Mhm.
I equate the Border Patrol more to being in the military.
yeah, I was going to ask because, you know, the Border Patrol and BORTAC, like you guys fall under DOJ, but you're not like cops. I mean, you are, but like you guys definitely arrest people, whatever else. So talk a little bit about, I mean, there's a lot of people listening to us either in California, other than one of the border states where, you know, the Border Patrol operates, and like, they're like, oh, we interface with those guys a lot, whatever. But for like, you're in Nebraska, a lot of times I've met a lot of handlers from the central part of the country that don't have any experience working with that. So talk a little bit about the difference, both in terms of because the other thing about Border Patrol is I don't think people realize how big the canine program is.
Right.
It's freaking huge. I think it's got to be one of the largest in the world. If I was talking with one of the selection guys, and I mean, it's massive. How many dogs were you guys running through there, like as you were leaving?
I mean, like I said, just in the Laredo sector, we always had anywhere between 100 and 150 canine teams. That's just the Laredo sector, right? So, I mean, I'm going to say probably nationwide. Back when I left, we were probably 800, 900 canine teams. Now, the majority of Border Patrol canine program is detection only.
Right.
You know, we're not talking bite dogs. The patrol program is a lot smaller.
How do they pick a guy to go from detection to patrol dog?
So the only way you can be a patrol handler is you have to be a board tacker. The only exception, and it's very limited, it's if you're a supervisor and above, they allow you to. Well, they say they do, but it's very few of us that are able to do that.
Mhm.
I can't think. I'm one of them that was not a board tacker and became patrol handler, but there's probably, I'm wanting to say maybe 4 or 5 at the most
Yeah.
ever.
Oh, okay. Just for our listeners that are unaware or don't, you know, they're dog handlers, right? They're going out there sniffing cars, they're having a good time. You know, they're getting some dope here and there, maybe a big load. They're a interdiction guy on the highway, and maybe they sniff 3 cars a shift. Break it down what just Laredo looked like, what you on an average day were doing.
Sure. So Laredo is a big checkpoint sector, right? We have the big immigration checkpoint on IH-35, to include other smaller checkpoints on the other stations. But our major checkpoint is 35, which is patrolled by the Laredo North Station. And that checkpoint, I mean, normally I'm going to say there was probably about 5 handlers on duty, and for a 8 to 10 hour shift, they're probably scanning at least 200 to 500 vehicles a shift, just you as one team, right? It just really depends. But yeah, no, we scan a lot, and you only get, it's very different, right? Because we're standing there, you only get 3 to 10 seconds to scan a car, and you got to clear it or detain it further. You got to have reason to stop it though. So you got those 10 seconds to make up your mind.
Yeah. Does the wind always come the same way there in Laredo, like at the checkpoint?
You know, usually when I first started, we were at a smaller checkpoint. We built this new high-tech checkpoint that kind of screwed everything up. But in the old checkpoint, it was kind of sitting on top of a hill, and it was just perfect. The wind was always the same. Once we built that new checkpoint, of course, there's new obstacles and stuff like that. So the wind kind of changed.
Yeah.
And more lanes. We went from a 2-lane checkpoint to a 6-lane checkpoint. So yeah, it makes it, but most of the time, yeah, the wind direction will stay pretty much consistent.
That's good. That's good. At least you can, you know, each day you're going to start at the same side of the cars, and if you only got 10 seconds.
Yeah, you got to understand understand your dog and make a quick decision on it.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to trust it. You got to trust it. I think that the main hurdle that handlers go through, they just don't trust it. And they're expecting an alert that you would get, on a training day, and that's just not going to.
Yeah. Now, is there somebody there with you watching the driver while you're just running the cars looking for?
Yeah. So canine handlers don't work the line. All they concentrate is pre-primary. So before the vehicle actually gets to the inspection.
Oh, okay.
That's normally where we work it. And then if you would secondary, they'll send it to a secondary area, and then you'll get released, and then that dog team would go over there and clear it.
Probably one of my favorite companies to deal with in this industry is Ray Allen Canine. What I really love about Ray Allen Canine is I need one website. I don't got to bounce around to a bunch of different places. I go to rayallen.com and everything I need. Because remember, guys, I have a pet dog training business, same with Ted, and we do police dogs. I'm a pet dog owner. Anything I need dog related. It's not just working dogs stuff. It's dog stuff. Anything I need, Ray Allen has. Rayallen.com has everything you need, from leashes, harnesses, bowls, anything you could possibly do. And here's the cool thing. They're always innovating some really cool stuff. If you follow them on their social media, you'll see Matt on there demoing a bunch of cool stuff they have. They're out in Colorado, got an amazing facility out there. One stop shop, nowhere else to go and look. Rayallen.com. Use the discount code WDR10 RAY for 10% off. WDR10 RAY for 10% off at rayallen.com. I worked with a lady who was, she was customs, I think, instead of just Border Patrol. I think she was customs, and I met her in Aruba. She was a dog handler down there in Aruba, but she, prior to that, was assigned at San Ysidro, the crossing, and same thing, 400 or 500 cars a day. And it's funny, is her dog would not fucking out his toy. That was a lot of all day long, a lot of problems with them.
So I'll tell you, working the dogs, I've done both. I've worked dogs at the port of entry, and I've worked dogs at the checkpoint. It's a different animal also. It really is. It's just different the way we deploy the dogs, even though it's the same program. It's just different.
How many years then are they getting out of the dogs there? Pretty standard, or?
Yeah, I'm going to say once the dog starts turning between 8 is when you start looking at retirement. But, when I first started, some dogs went a little bit longer, maybe 10 years old. But
yeah,
the typical is 8 to 10 years.
That's not bad. I mean,
It's pretty
8
standard.
or 10-year-old dog, not.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They're tired as fuck when they retire.
Yeah.
And we're getting some dogs, that playing. Border Patrol has to buy the dog before they're 36 months. So that's 3 years, right? And of course, you already know your import dogs, fake passports, sometimes they're older than what you think they are. So.
Yeah. I think it used to be the other way years ago. Guys tell, when I was importing dogs, you had to watch that. Guys before were like, no, they're younger. It changed throughout the time. They were trying to get babies in, then they were trying to get old dogs through there. And I don't know about you, Ted, over here, I think I've said this before, for some reason, when I had the kennel going and I was selling dogs in this area or anywhere around, I can't sell anything over 3 years in one day. Nobody would buy a 3-year-old dog. It was weird.
Yeah, it's the Leonardo DiCaprio thing. Like once they hit 25, he doesn't want to date him anymore. It's the same deal. Once they turn 3, they're like, oh man, we have some local departments that, if he's a day over a certain age that they want, they're like, nope, won't even look at him. So
yeah, gangster dogs, like dogs that we've trained that were freaking amazing. They're 3 years and 2 months. They're like, I'm like, well, legit 3 years, 2 months, not 4 with a fake passport. And then I'm like, but this dog is perfect. And they're like, yeah, give us a 11-month-old. Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah. And then they would rather fight the fight for the year and a half to get him to where the 3-year-old dog is. Either way, whatever. Whatever. I've struggled with that multiple times. So Oscar, also all these dogs, I get asked this question all the time. And obviously I don't work with Border Patrol, but what else are you guys looking for other than narcotics? Obviously it's narcotics, but you guys are also looking for human trafficking and guns and whatever.
So, obviously, all our dogs, like I said, our majority of our program is detection. And when I say detection, as we're looking for odors, right? Plus concealed people. That's the majority. And then some of those detection dogs are cross-trained for tracking and trailing. So we don't just work checkpoint, we'll work the brush looking for people. So it's either tracking or open area search, using air sensor. And then, of course, I mean, we've got everything, man. We've got human remains. We've got patrol dogs. I can't think of a explosion detection because I don't think we do. I mean, we've trained it, we've seen it, we know about it, but we don't really. I mean, it would be too much for us. It's just not effective for us.
Yeah, because then, like, if I got the explosive dog and you're working a checkpoint, you hit on it. Now we're fucked. All right, now we're fucked.
Yeah, now, yeah.
I had a seizure once where when it was a trap door, and kind of looking through one of the things in the trap door, we could see some wires in there, man. We got scared. Ended up having to call the bomb squad, all kinds of shit, and they blew it open. Of course, there was cocaine all over the place there. What it was a shotgun barrel sticking out of that. So when you'd open it, you get shot.
Oh, it was set to trigger that way.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, that worked out then.
Yeah, it worked out, but it was a hassle. It really was a hassle.
I'm sure those people at the border were trying to get in were like, motherfuck.
Yeah. So would you guys do off the line? Would you do the search and rescue stuff, or is that exclusively for the Borstar guys?
Search and rescue is mostly for the Borstar. Again, you got the caveat on supervisors are allowed to work those type of, even if you're not a Borstar guy. I think in my sector, he's the current coordinator. I think he was a search and rescue guy, but was not Borstar.
Is that just so they have one available faster?
No.
Or just taking care of the supervisors like every other department?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, man. And like I said, it's not every supervisor. I mean, I tell you, man, you gotta either be very well liked in order to get that, or you gotta have some pull, or you gotta take advantage of circumstances like I did.
So let's go all the way back to the beginning when they put the new guy in the suit. What were you thinking?
Back when I was
way back early on when they're like, hey, new guy, get in the suit and go stand over there.
Yeah,
you trial by fire.
Yeah, exactly. It's fun stuff. Of course, we obviously don't recommend that nowadays. I really learn better. But I mean, I'm grateful for it because they got my interest into the KINETIC program. So.
The funny thing is in Ohio, so with our state certification for the recall portion, termination without engagement, the decoy is 120 feet away. So he takes off for a few steps. You send the dog after a certain amount of time. You recall the dog. He can't do the bite. Then when he gets back, you send him on the bite at 120 feet, pretty much. So we are changing the state standards, and that's going to come out here in like a month or so. What we're having them do is bring the decoy, just come running in, and then at some point when you get close, turn and run away, so that it's not 120 feet. And that's because tons of agencies and groups still put a new guy in the suit, or they got a sleeve, and then they're just jamming dogs at 120 feet over and over and over again. And like today at our certification, that's why I brought a buddy of mine who's a real good decoy. Mainly, actually, this whole training group's pretty good, but because then it's always smooth, those long bites, because it's still 120 feet. We haven't changed it quite yet.
It's hard to find people that enjoy decoying. So, even guys that are experienced, it's hard. It's hard to find volunteers to do it. So that's why I think in law enforcement, you end up doing what we got to do.
Yeah, and that's just been like that forever. But at some point, the guy's got to help. He's got to, you can't. My thing was I wouldn't let guys stick around in our training group who refused. I can't do that. I'm not going to get in the suit. Then go train somewhere else, dude. So who does you just use your decoys, Ted? Just the guys that work for you, or do you make their handlers do it?
No. When they're in handler school, they need to be focusing on being handlers, not decoying. There's already enough to fuck up on that side of the leash.
Yeah, I mean, like their Thursday nights.
No, if it's the experienced guys, they'll offer. And if they're around enough, for sure I will. But for the most part, I won't let those guys work inexperienced dogs or like young dogs. They only get to work like the hammers that have already got, street apprehensions, bite correctly, target well. And some of those dogs also, I have some in my training group that will, and I train them in it well, regardless, but they will take advantage of people that make mistakes. The dogs will. Mm-hmm. And if you're not fast enough, or if you're presenting in an odd manner or doing something kind of outside the norm, they will 100% take advantage of you. And which is fine. I mean, I don't care, but it's just because when those dogs actually have apprehensions, I mean, they are always solid, but it's just one of those where new decoys, like inexperienced decoys with dogs that are like that is not a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, you get lazy with your hand.
Yeah, yes.
That'll be it.
Well, not these dogs. They're not like hand biters, and they don't transfer, but they'll fuck with you. Like if you're presenting weird, like if you're not presenting a bicep or if you're doing something funky, and I warn them, I'm like, hey, just make sure you're 1,000% clear on where you want him to go. Because if he's not, like he's going to go right to your leg or he's going to do something. There's two dogs in our group that 100%, if they think that they're going to be able to get one over on you, they will go low right to your shin and turn you into a flamingo, and it's on. Like then you can't get off of it. I mean, then you're on your ass and fucking fighting the dog on the ground, and it sucks. And and I tell them, I'm like, they're doing something else back here, so he's there as long as he's there, and they're just grinding their shin into dust. And I'm like, well, I mean, what do you want me to tell you?
Fun.
Yeah, I'm like, what do you want me to tell you, bro? Like, I got a dog in class right now that's got a Mondio ring background, and he's just hammering the suit pants that got stolen were the super thin ones, and she'd been using Kirsten had been using the other ones anyway, but because this one of these dogs is just a monster on knees and chins. So
maybe she had them stolen. Maybe she was like, hey, dude, let's get this thing out.
When I called Arnaud today, I was like, because he still has the measurement. Oddly enough, he still has the pattern from the first time he made the other one like 14 years ago or whatever. And I was like, just remake that one.
Yeah, perfect.
Remake the whoopee. It'll be fine.
So I know Ted, we talked before we started recording. Ted wanted to talk to you about like when did you get into dog raising, that type of stuff? If you doing puppies and all that, anything like that, when did you get into all that stuff?
Yeah, so honestly, dog raising, after I got into the patrol program, I wanted to get my feet wet and raise a dog. And I met Dick Van Leeuwen down here in Houston. Kendall, I think you know Kendall.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh yeah, I have one of her dogs sitting here looking at me right now. Yeah.
So Kendall had a seminar and had Dick Van Leeuwen over, and so I ended up meeting Dick and Rick Wolfsbeek there at the seminar. And talking to Dick, I ended up flying up there to Holland and picking up one of his puppies, and raised him all the way until, well, I still have him obviously, but I ended up raising them and trialing and then an APA and got the APA 1 certification with them. So yeah, that's my first dog that I was racing. I'm currently racing another one. My wife wants to be a handler and go trial on the next APA trial, so I'm racing her a dog now.
All right, our next sponsor is really good for the business side of this. If you're in the business of breeding and or raising police dogs or even just regular dogs, pets or gun dogs or whatever, one of the biggest hassles that we have to deal with is housing. Making sure it's safe, making sure it's high quality, all these things, make sure it's sterile, it's easy to clean, we can feed. If not, it just creates an infinitely higher workload. On top of that, it's expensive. One of our sponsors from Horizon Structures, they do a great job at making a plug and play drop ready to go as soon as it hits the deck in your location. You have a gravel pad, hook it up to electricity and water. You can put dogs in it that afternoon, and all the guesswork is taken out of it. It's ready to go as soon as it gets there, and you can go from mild to wild. I've seen some that have stainless steel on the inside. It looks like an operating room. It comes with its own air conditioner, all the way down to just like a basic one you need to put in the backyard to satisfy your policy requirements. If you're a canine handler out in the back for a 10x10, he's got an indoor outdoor, and he's got a little outdoor thing that's elevated, so he doesn't have to stand in any of his waste, and it's easy to clean. So everything from all the way from a single dog all the way up to, I think they do like, what do they do, Eric? Like they do like 16 and 18, like large sizes. So hit them up, horizonstructures.com, and they will get you set up quickly.
And I just started with that part.
For those who don't know, what is APA?
So it's the American Police Dog Association. It's another one of the bite sports that we have up here. It mirrors the KINETIC program in the Netherlands.
Oh shit! Okay,
it's a fairly new program. It's still getting out of its feet, out of the ground, but so fairly new. We got some wrinkles there that we're ironing out, but we probably got a good maybe $10 that's maybe $10-15 that achieve the title.
I know Texas is huge for sport. There's a shitload of clubs, different types of sports, right?
Yeah, but mostly PSA and IGP. A lot of people don't know about APA. It's small. We're very starting, but I just enjoy it.
Now, Ted, have you decoyed at any clubs in Texas or any?
Oh yeah, North Texas. Not at the APA stuff. Just it's and I mean I can wear those suits. I'm not a. Oh yeah, multiple. Yeah, like Coy's Club in North Texas. There's Derek's Club. I've decoyed for multiple clubs, and I did two trials over the last 2 years out in Amarillo. It was hot and cold. But yeah, I go down there quite a bit. Texas has a ton of clubs, but yeah, it's for sure lots of working stuff going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of dogs in Texas. I go down and do my e-collar seminars. I've done 2 or 3 in the Houston area. I got another one in Houston this fall to go down there with that. There's a lot of dogs, man. Texas is rocking and rolling down there.
It's just it's huge though, so it's kind of hard, to get around and visit clubs. So.
Oh yeah, it takes for like the joke they said about Houston was Houston is an hour away from Houston. Yes. Like it takes so long. It was funny. The guys were from where I was staying to where we were training. They're like, look, you have to leave you leave your hotel no later than 7:05. 7:07, that's going to cost you 10 minutes. 7:10 is going to cost you 18 minutes. Down to the freaking minute those guys, and they were dead right. And he goes, that's without an accident. Accident happens, you're fucked. You can throw it out the window.
Yeah, I got every time I go to Texas, or every time I go to Houston, pick up dogs, and we fly them in. That's where we fly them into, and it's always. You thank God it's on the north side of Houston, because if not, I mean, it would full on add a day just to have to drive to the other side of Houston if the airport was on the south side. Nope. So you managed the entire program. So you said we're all the maintenance training too. How did you manage 150 plus dog team maintenance training?
So detection teams. So we have a lot of field instructors, right? That are not supervisors, or just handlers that go to the trainers class, and then they hold our maintenance training, and so we schedule them to come in for their required 16 hours a month of training. So every pay period, they basically show up one day, and we're split all the team amongst those 6 to 7 instructors, and they go out in groups of 5 or 6 and put in the whole 8 hours of training.
Wow. Yeah. When we were in Boston for HRD, Troy Casey at BPD has a huge training. Eric, how many? I don't even remember. They had I
think it was close to 200.
It wasn't
not Boston dogs, but the training
just
group,
like the area, and Greg was helping him, and it's like they have multiple days. Like if you're a bomb dog, or you want to do work odor here, bite work here, tracking here, like all these other things, this day, this time, this address, they would have different instructors. I'm like, good Lord, it's a full-time job just managing the maintenance training side.
That's all it is. And like I said, I mean, the more disciplines that you have on the dog, then it's the more requirements. So instead of coming in once every 2 weeks, now you had to come in once a week. So it's the same for a tracking and trailing dog, right? He does his tracking and trailing, but then he also has to do his detection on a completely separate day.
What did you see out of the handlers consistently bad habits that you would have to watch for and help with on the maintenance days?
Aside from people doing the handler job, well, yeah, I probably shouldn't say that. Back in the day, we used to get 17 paid, right? Which was extra money for being a cannon. So we did have a lot of guys that were in it for the money, obviously. Later on, and then they ended up getting rid of that now that they did the pay reform, and now they just kind of give you instead of working 10-hour days, you work 9-hour days. So
That's what we did, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not that much of an incentive to be a handler. But nonetheless, the biggest issue to me was handlers coming into train and they're wanting that day as a day off the line. You know what I mean? So if your instructor's not motivated enough and can't get those guys engaged and interested in what they're doing, it becomes a bad pattern, and people just there to put the dog in order and go home. And so we got to try and keep it interesting, try and give them different scenarios.
Yeah, when I used to tell guys in my training group, I would tell guys, listen, this isn't a day off the road. You're coming in here. Get your coffee, take your 2 shits fast, because we start 8 o'clock, 8:30, we're out. We'll go over things and then we're out. We got work to do. And I try to make it interesting and fun. I did find, if I hadn't seen a guy in a while tracking, there was always some bad habits that they started creating with leash handling. And then on detection side, it was always the talking to the dog. And I was like, who told you that? Like, we had a guy show up, suddenly he's doing show me. I'm like, who the fuck told you that? Don't do that. Who taught you to teach show me? And he was doing this weird thing with his hand with show me. You know who taught him? YouTube. I'm like, stop fucking watching YouTube. Come here and train with us. We'll show you. So
I think leash handling, and then the other one is, when the dog starts having issues and then they expect the trainer to fix it, and they want you to fix it just on your training days. Like, no, buddy, you have to do your own work, because fixing a dog takes consistency and repetition. So that's the hardest part, I think. But yeah, leash handling, I think that, cueing the dog, but like you said, start cueing the dog to do stuff or all kinds of stuff. Voice tones, either they're saying something or they're not saying something. They'll stop saying it when,
Yeah, and cue them up, right? What did they have you stop by, like while guys were working, just do spot checks of dudes while they're working and watch them and see what's up?
We did, and what we would do a lot is we'd load up a car and go through the checkpoint, just try to surprise them. Again, that's just hard to do, though. Just like I said, there's 8 lanes, or I'm sorry, there's 6 lanes, and sometimes there's only 2 dogs working, so you got to try and get it right. Sometimes you'll go by and the handler's not anywhere around, for you, like, how am I gonna make this guy check around this car? So yeah, but he did do spot checks.
Yeah, that's cool. Because you got to get them. Dogs know training days. Yeah, right. They know the training days. So then you moved on to patrol, Ted.
Yeah, so you go to patrol, and for for just normal patrol guys, what does patrol on Border Patrol look like? I mean, detection is pretty straightforward, right? You said you're working lanes, you're at the checkpoints, or at the big checkpoints, or in the small checkpoints. So what is patrol functions?
So our patrol dogs are just single purpose. All they are is apprehension dogs. And those dogs,
no lie, I would love that. I would love to do that, by the way.
That's all they do, is they just search and bite. That's all they are. But they're normally attached to the board tech unit. So we're doing high risk warrants, some brush work, go set up and just try and catch dope up there. That's pretty much all we do.
And you said there's not very many of those dudes that are not attached to, or well, I guess that are not board tech guys also, but it's fairly, it's not very common.
No, I'm going to say 99% of the handlers are board techers. So they're doing their board tech thing. Yeah.
So here's a question for you then. What's your way of teaching the dog to be neutral to gunfire? Everybody's got their way. Their secret sauce. Start at the range, do this and do that. How do you build them up in that? Because they're going to be around a lot of gunfire during your training stuff.
Yeah, no. So I like doing gunfire, doing obedience, and then we start introducing gunfire at a distance. I I try not to do a lot. A lot of the guys do it. Try and introduce obedience while the dog is in drive. You know, maybe throw a toy, and as he's running away, you're shooting from behind. I don't really like doing that. I like trying to teach the dog a little bit in lower drive. So even though he's still in drive because we're doing obedience, but he's not going after a toy is what I'm trying to say. And then you start getting closer and closer to the gunfire until the handler's actually the one, discharging the fire.
This episode is brought to you by our good friends, the Perkinsons, down at Highland Canine Training. Highland, HIGHLAND Canine Training. They are a really cool place, guys. They have a school for dog trainers, pet dogs and working dogs. That is an amazing spot, man. You can go there, and it's no joke. Like, you're not going to be there for 3 weeks and come back with some stupid certificate. This is like a 6-month school for dog trainers. You learn every aspect of it, including the business side of dog training, which can be tough, especially for us former cops or current cops or military guys that don't really know all that stuff. They've been doing it forever. They offer online courses. They sell police dogs. They have canine handler schools. They offer in-person supervisor courses. Check them out, guys. HighlandCanine.com is the website to go check it out. Everything's on that front page there. It's a very nice website. Check them out, HighlandCanine.com. For the supervisor schools, I think there's a 30% off with the discount code WDR30, HighlandCanine.com. Yeah, and I wanted to ask that because there's Ohio handlers are listening in Ohio currently up until we change this here pretty soon. They still teach aggression to gunfire. The decoy fires. You send the dog, the decoy fires again. And we're changing it entirely to get away from that. And it has nothing to do with bite work, a decoy, anything. It's during obedience. At the end of obedience, you fire off a round. The handler has to do it.
Yeah, you'll encounter problems, and you start, the dog starts frustrating because he's expecting a bite with loud noise. So you start throwing flashbangs or something, then you got your handlers getting tagged or the stack getting tagged. So yeah, like I said, try and do it outside of bite work and in lower drive as possible.
Mm-hmm. Is that what you do, Ted? You guys go to the range, or you just start? How do you do it?
No, I usually start either with obedience or an article recovery. And if they're started, and this is before they're tracking, because we do the Dick Stall thing, or versions of it. And if they've got a good article, like where we can like pitch it and they'll go and perform the behavior, we rain the food down on top of them.
Behavior is just sitting and staring at it?
Or downing on it and staring at it. And we're dropping the food on them. And I make sure to tell my trainers and my handlers, I'm like, do not mark the negative space between gunfires, or do not mark the space when you have actual gunfire. And a lot of times, so the range that we use is in between TPDs and TCSOs. It's a private range. It's huge. There's always something going on. And I tell them, like, if you can avoid it, try and not pair reward to gunfire. And I make sure to tell them too, I was like, there's no corrections while we're out here. Like, we don't want to correct the dog, and like, we don't want to reward the dog based on gunfire. Like, just do the obedience and do the obedience and do the article recovery, and don't give a shit what's going on anywhere else, and don't worry about it. So then it just becomes background noise. We usually start, depending on where the gunfire is happening, certain days, like, the feds use the range that we're at all the time. So we'll go out there when like the Secret Service or the FBI or whoever's out there doing whatever they're doing, and we'll be in the next bay over. So, I mean, and it's super loud, but it's not, well, I mean, not super loud, but it's loud enough that obviously the dog notice it. And on top of that, if they're kind of young, I'll put the little mutt muffs on them. I'll teach them how to wear that. They've already been taught how to wear a muzzle. So they'll put the little mutt muffs on, or the little headphones for the dogs. And if we can get some good behaviors, then we'll pull that off, and then we'll start progressing towards the line. And then I'll tell the guys that are there working, I was like, we're just working back here. So they'll let us just kind of walk around behind them. We'll be 20, 30 yards behind them while they're shooting. And if that works, then we'll move back onto our own bay, and then we'll start at a line where somebody is off the far right side, the ejection side of the firearm, whether it's a rifle or a pistol. And we move into them progressively closer and closer and closer, non-ejection side. I'll also use suppress 9mm at the start. If we start moving forward, and we'll pull the suppressor off, and I'll put suppress 5.56, and then I'll take the suppressor off of that. And then once all that's done, then I move to moving with ejection side. still on the other side of the dog. And then we moved to moving with somebody shooting while brass is flying in front of the dog. And I don't want them to try and snag shit out of the air and snag people. And so it's a stepped process. And each time I always use the suppressor to kind of, if a dog gets kind of funky on us when we move forward, I either take a step back or I'll put the suppressor back on. And when we're shooting, we're really clear, like to the dog, we'll raise a barrel, give a 1-2 count, like not necessarily audibly, but then we'll mark it that way. And so everybody knows that if we're going to reward the dog, anytime we see a barrel raise, we know we got at least a 2 count, and then we're going to get sound, and then we're able to they'll still kind of work the dog. So we have a very like regimented thing, but until they get into it. And then by the time we get to handler school, like we just kind of go out and do obedience, like run barrel to barrel, ask the dogs down, maintain position, recall the handler, all that kind of stuff around other people with gunfire. So it's nothing more than obedience, like with just a shit ton of distraction. So the one thing that I don't like is when dogs, like you said, Eric, get paired to gunfire. Mm-hmm. So then if they don't let go, they're like, well, fuck, I'm going to bite this dude instead. Like, then it's like, every time I hear gunfire, I'm supposed to bite somebody. So you're at today, homie. It's like, no.
There was some debate about, not just some discussion in the group about, do you have the decoy fire and the dog just has to lay there and not move? Do you have the decoy fire, the handler fire, and the dog doesn't move? And we came down to, listen, nothing to do with bite work, nothing whatsoever. Yeah, not even in the same hour as bite work. Just do it on the obedience. Now, because we have dogs that have, say it's a 6-year-old dog and he's certified like 5 times, I did get him to agree to let him muzzle those dogs. Because there are some dudes that, you can counter condition it and you can work it, but we know they're not gonna. And that first time they're going to fire and they're going to wear that dog. So, you're going to fail. If the dog muzzle punches you, that's a failure. However, at least he didn't freaking bite him. Because there are guys, I tell them, I go, I hope you're a good shot. Because your first double tap needs to be really good. Because your second one, you're fucked, with the dog. So, when you're going through patrol stuff with a dog like that, with board tack and everything, what do you see washes dogs out the most?
Not being able to settle, not being a clear-minded dog.
Yeah, noise discipline, that type of whining, and
yeah, more than anything, you got to be able to deploy the dog, like you said. That noise discipline, you're going to be giving out warning. The dog needs to be quiet. It needs to be able to bark on command and be quiet on command.
I think any special operations type unit is the same, because I worked this Navy SEAL contract for Cobra. I only did it for 4 months, and I know that the dogs being quiet was a big deal, and that's mostly what the failures would be out of that.
Instability, like, a lot of people, they're thinking, a patrol dog is an aggressive dog, and it's quite the opposite. I mean, it's a well-controlled dog. Is definitely, and that's why I'm saying that almost everything you want to train in low drive. The dog has to understand that. You start training based on frustration and drive building, and next thing you know, the dog just doesn't have a clear head, and it's hard to teach a dog to do behaviors that you want when you have to rely on that frustration.
That's if you've ever listened to the show, you've probably heard me say this, but the Europeans, for better or for worse, train dogs to pass selection, and they're not raised to be trained. So they're raised to get out of the kennel 400 times a day and smoke somebody and demonstrate that they can bite and go chase the tennis ball into tall grass and do whatever it is that they do.
And never let go.
And never let go of it. And then so you get this dog that comes in and they test really well. And you're like, okay, now I got to train him. And it is a completely different skill set. I raised a litter of puppies. Damn, it's been 10 years ago. And, just kind of put them on some stuff that they would never, ever actually find in the real world, just for kind of like an imprinting thing. And all I did was clicker work and environmental work and basic hunting skills. And they were a Shepherd Malinois cross, and I sold 8 of them to detection trainers. And every single one of those guys called me back and were like, this is the easiest dog in the world to train ever. Like, they just know how to work. And I'm like, no, they know how to work. They know how to interact with a human being. and they know how to be trained, which sounds ridiculous, and they were all food trained. And, I did some drive building, but I don't necessarily, this is kind of getting into the next topic that I want to talk about, but I don't really do a ton of drive building if I don't need to. Like you said, I think they get kind of funky.
That's definitely the old Border Patrol way. But it's been evolving. But yeah, before it used to be the handlers just lose weight, and you wanted a dog to just be at the end of the leash trying to get everything, kill everything. And it's like, nah, it's just a lot harder. You get a lot more problems there.
So there's a dog that was in the news recently from Border Patrol, that there was a kid that was in prison, Daniele Cavalcante. He was a Brazilian national. I think what did he kill his girlfriend or something? I don't know what he did. Yeah, I think he killed his girlfriend. Anyway, he broke out of prison in Pennsylvania. The security footage is crazy. Like, he literally just parkoured up the wall because the wall wasn't a straight 90-degree angle, and he just and he was gone. And it took forever to catch that kid. And ultimately, it was a dog named Yoda that caught him, which was one of the dogs that you raised and brought over to the Vortex. So talk a little bit about Yoda, how you got him, and then the process of getting him over to that program, and then your final time with him before he went off into wherever he's at.
This episode is brought to you by Dogtra Official, Dogtra.com. You guys have heard us talk about it. We've been with Dogtra for a long time. We love them. They're amazing people. We love their product. There's so many different things that they do. The 1900S, the hands-free. They got all kinds of things, poppers, droppers, all kinds of different things with their e-collar. But I have been a proponent of their YS600 bark collars for a long time. Everybody knows I talk about it. When I had the kennel open, I would come in and show videos of all the dogs being quiet. The YS600, they have the YS300 for smaller dogs. But here's the thing, guys. They just came out with a bark collar called the Smart Bark Collar. Dude, this thing is amazing. It attaches to an app on your phone. You can control everything out of it, see in real time what's working, what isn't working with the dog. But here's the kicker. It catches whining. That's the big deal with that Smart Bark Collar. It catches the whining, because we all know your dogs learn to whine underneath the threshold of other bark collars, and it's super annoying. But with that Smart Bark Collar, it catches the whining. And in the app, while it's working, you can just reach up and hit the vibrate button. There's a little button on your thing that'll vibrate that if that seems to work a little bit better for your dog. Or you can actually administer your own stim as a little bit extra if need be. You can set minimums, maximums, sensitivity levels to pick up that whining. Check out dogtra.com. They have a discount code WDR10, 10% off a single item over $200. But check out that Smart Bark Collar, guys. It is amazing. We've been messing with it in my facility, and my employees absolutely love it. Check them out, dogtra.com.
Yeah, sure. So, like I mentioned before, I met Dick Van Leeuwen a couple of years back. I had bought a puppy from him, and he would keep up with me, and he still does. He keeps up with the training that I did with Sanko, which is from his breeding. So Dick contacted me, trying to let me know about a dog that was up for sale. Yoda, at that point, I think he was probably a little bit under a year to a year old. And one of his friends up there in the Netherlands that does a lot of sport training, he does KMP. He had him, he had raced him, and I started training him, but he wasn't satisfied with him because he was described as medium to low drive and not very serious in his bite work. So Dick, being familiar with how I had raced and trained Santo, contacted me. So I know, man, you think he can do something with this dog? And of course, trusting Dick, I said, yeah, for sure, I'll try him. So I ended up purchasing that dog, brought him over. As soon as he landed, did the introduction to the family and stuff like that, and right away started developing a training program for him. I evaluated him and started developing the training program for him. Right away, I noticed that he had excellent obedience. He was a very stable dog, but he was lacking on that forward aggression. and you could tell that he was a little bit hesitant about his bite work. He would bite you, but you could just tell that he was worried about, am I supposed to be biting or not biting? He had a real soft bite at the beginning. So I developed the program, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna do a little dry fielding with him, but try and keep it clear. Try to keep it clear, low drive. So I did a lot of the crate building without the frustration part, taking all that frustration out, putting them on the bite table, stuff like that, and slowly started introducing it to him. And as he matured, he just started getting better and started getting more serious about the bite work. So a lot of it, I think, had to do with the dog just wasn't mature. If you're familiar with Andalusian dogs, a lot of people complain that they're slow maturing. So
they are. I've raised multiple. Eric, you've sold that one. What's his name? Do we have the picture of him with the giant Kong? I'll remember his name in a second.
They're definitely slow maturing. But once they hit, man, it's like it's a different dog. I tell you, just like Santo, I don't think he was fully mature till he was at least 3 years old.
Yeah.
That's when you could see his character just change completely. And that dog will bite you, and he'll definitely bite you for real. So it's the same with Yoda. Once he started, I'm going to say I had him probably about a year. It just started clicking. It started clicking, and he started getting a lot better. So I just took it slowly. Eventually, a buddy of mine, Cedar Creek Kennels, I don't know if you guys are familiar with them. Okay, so he had the contract for Border Patrol. So I contacted him, and I said, hey, man, I can present this dog to the Border Patrol. I had just retired. So he ended up taking the dog, and by chance he passed because one of my buddies was up there doing the selection work. And he goes, man, I don't know what you're sending, but he almost didn't pass. I said, what are you talking about? And he said, well, I guess he was a little shy in the desert up there in Eagle Pass, was just putting on the long throws. So it kind of took him a little bit to kind of, but they ended up passing him. All the credit goes to the Border Patrol guys, because when dogs come to the Border Patrol, it doesn't matter how much training they have. They're always started as if they're 100% green. So they get built up from the bottom all the way up. It doesn't matter if the dogs are already trained. So like I said, I mean, this dog by this point, by the time he got up there, he was ready to go. I had already been building searches. I already been being out. He had a nice obedience. He had everything. Hell, I had already even introduced the laser on him. So he had everything. But they started from the bottom and they built them. And my buddy would call me like, hey, man, how do you get them to do this? Or just do it this way? And sure enough. But yeah, that dog ended up turning out pretty good, man. I was happy to hear the news that handler up there had use for it. I guess being in the right place at the right time.
So you didn't even know where he was going? Like,
I didn't know where he was going, but of course, as soon as he passed election, my buddies up there training him, they went to the patrol class. So I knew he had gone to Detroit. He had done the Detroit sector. So I knew who he was with and everything.
So at the point, so once he gets passed off, like not necessarily you lost track of him, but he's had a fairly successful run outside of just that one. Obviously, that's the one everybody knows about, but he's had a fairly successful career as it is already. But it's just an interesting conversation to have, especially since I'm getting ready to bring in some new dogs. But seeing dogs that dudes would wash even immediately, and Border Patrol is known for better or for worse, having the most stringent selection process, it's got to be the world, I would imagine. I mean, I don't know many other.
And they wash a lot of dogs too.
Yeah, they wash a lot of dogs, and they buy a lot, they wash a lot, and they train a lot too. And for even Lackland, I think it does not even remotely close to what the number of the Border Patrol does. So the program that they have, I mean, they know exactly what they want. So, I mean, if they pass, typically you're like, all right, well, I mean, I guess he's going to be fine. We'll see.
It works for them, right? They probably have a pretty good system there of success. One off here and there that proves them wrong, maybe. Like Yoda, they were like, we'll give it you have to be a little flexible, I guess, to have that. So now you retired, getting dogs in. Is that like you doing that a lot, or is this or just a here and there?
You know what, man? When I retired, and I ended up hooking up with a guy that overpromised and then delivered. So it just didn't align. We didn't align, so I ended up walking away. Unfortunately, that brought in a frivolous lawsuit against me, which luckily the judge dismissed in my favor because it was obviously nonsense. But that kind of put a bad taste in my mouth, and I said, you know what? Let's screw this private sector stuff. So now what I do is I concentrate. I'll get one dog, I'll train him up, and then I'll sell that one dog. You know, but I do one at a time. I don't deal with what you guys deal with, putting out that many.
Kennel full, yeah.
Yeah, there's no way.
Yeah, I closed my kennel. I just it was doing really good. You know, I was selling like 50 dogs a year, but it was just me doing it, and I was like, you know, I would rather travel, do the seminars, do the training, pass on knowledge. It was always, as you know, it's always awesome to get a dog, do some work on, and get them placed. You know, it's always cool when you train up a dog and sell them, whether it's green or not, and then they go and have success. I always love that. Love to hear from the handlers or the people that buy them. But yeah, man, I'm 55 and I'm done cleaning shit, piss and everything else, so I can avoid it. So, although I picked up poop today, so what am I saying?
Well, you guys do a lot of the pet stuff too, so
yeah.
You know, yes. I just don't have the personality for pet stuff. Yeah.
Neither does he.
Neither. Yeah.
You can't see I'm pointing right at.
Eric's pointing at me. No, I don't. And I'm generally not allowed to talk to pet clients because I'll usually say something. I talk to pet clients like I do cops, and I talk to pet clients like I talk to canine handlers, and that's not socially acceptable. So I am not allowed to talk to pet clients. My trainers are super good though. And
my people are great.
So, yeah.
I had a client come in and I knew them, right? I knew them. And I can't remember. I'm trying to remember who it was, if I knew them or if we had mutual friends or whatever, but they came in with a dog on a harness to drop off the dog for training. And I go, you can wipe your ass with this. And I handed back the harness to him. And my manager's like, no, stop. Don't do that. Don't tell them to wipe their ass with their harness. Just tell them, hey, we're not going to be using this.
Have you ever told anyone their dog would eat them if they died?
No, that's one of my favorites though.
Because I did.
Yeah.
So he loves me. He would eat you if you died. And everyone in the room just stopped and looked at me, and I'm like, I'll see myself out. And
so do you have the dog now that you're a project dog that you're building?
Yeah, I am. I just got him. I've probably been with him I think it's week 4, 3 or 4. So I think he's 23, 24 weeks old. So yeah, but I'm raising that one up, and that one's mostly going to be for my wife. Like I said, it's going to be her competition dog. But of course, even that dog, I'll put all the police dog training on him just because we could also be using the demo. Obviously, my other dog's getting a little bit older. He's 6 years old. So I just got to get the second one ready.
Anybody hitting you up and asking you to do the personal protection dogs?
I've had a couple. I've sold a protection dog here and there. But like I said, man, I try and stay away from that, man. Even civilian seminars. I've been in civilian seminars when people that have no business doing bite work. And it's like, man, why are we doing it? You know, I believe in doing things for a purpose and not doing it just to look cool.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's hard for me to hide my true feelings. I say it like it is, and people don't like that, so they get put off a little bit. Now, if you know me and you can put up with the way I train, you'll probably end up being a good handler. I can guarantee you.
I remember talking to a guy who has a real successful large business in California, and he said when he selects dogs for personal protection, they're the most social of the dogs that he gets, but he wants them police quality so that when the owner of the dog does some dumb shit or can't handle it anymore and he gets him back, that dog can then go into the police program. It's not what everyone thinks, the dog that's just nasty defense at the end of the line. And I know Ted's done a couple of them. I got to tell you, in this industry, man, it is hard to find insurance and have insurance. Those insurance companies dump kennels nonstop, like company wide, all kennels, and it's almost always because some dumbass gets sued because their clients do dumb shit. They're drunk. Let me show you what my dog does. This is cool, and then act like you're gonna punch me, and then they bite. And that same guy was telling me, he goes, I only sell to clients who are wealthy enough to afford stupidity, that can pay when they do dumb stuff. I'm like, that's genius. So then your price has to be, like $100,000 to
that's the other thing about protection dogs. I mean, in all honesty, if somebody's going to buy a protection dog, they better be very wealthy in order to afford what I'm going to charge. Because, I'll give you my dog, for example. He must have been a year and a half at the point when some guys came over and saw him work, and they're like, right away, they're like, hey, man, I'll give you 14 grand for that dog. It was like, no, I think I put in a lot more work than 14 grand. It's just too much work. It's too much work. It's too much of a headache raising a dog to try and sell them for, 20 grand. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
Even the thing with police dogs, if you were to raise, if you're not flipping dogs when you're buying a 1.5-year-old dog and then just putting that extra touches, those you can turn around and sell them to a government contract, whatnot. But if you're racing him, you're taking a loss. With Yoda,
you're never getting your money. No.
It's somebody that's been with us since the beginning is Arnaud at ALM, based out in Vegas. Arnaud makes fantastic bite suits. I've been a senior level PSA decoy for a long time. All of my trial suits are ALMs. I love them. I've sent my one jacket back multiple times to have new sleeves put on it because it fits so well. Arnaud works with you through the process, helps you get a design set up. In fact, when I went out to see him in Vegas, he had my original design still in my original pattern still in the workshop there, and he was able to make me another jacket just out of the one that I have that's like 10 years old. He made me another one. Super high quality materials, super high quality stitching. Great service after the fact if you have to have repair work done. Hit him up, ALM Canine Equipment. That's the letter K number 9.com. ALM Canine Equipment. Use this discount code WD Radio for 10% off. Another person that has been with us since the beginning is the person that wrote the music for the intro and the outro on this. His name's Brother Deeg. He's no longer with us. He's a super talented musician, and I actually met him at a live show here in Tulsa. Super nice guy. He was super supportive of what we do here and what police dogs do in general. And he was gracious enough to allow us to use the music for that. Yeah. Wherever you're at, you can look at him on iTunes and on Spotify. Just Brother Deeg, spelled DEGE, and it's brotherdeeg.net. It's a 2.5-year project. I mean, it's not, then that's what a lot of people don't understand. Yeah, it definitely is one of those. I don't like doing them. And the interview process for people that want personal protection dogs from us is fairly lengthy, and I don't do them if they're way far away from us. I have a person in town here that paid $185,000 for a dog, and it won't bite a sleeve because it's because the decoy wasn't being aggressive enough. I forgot about that part, but I don't know. I don't know. Like, I was just kind of like, they asked me to evaluate the dog. I'm like, well, and I know where he came from, and the guy's a fucking scam artist anyway. But yeah, so. Yep, we need to go ahead. So, Eric, what are you doing tonight? You're going to do a
jiu-jitsu seminar in
involuntary yoga.
55 minutes, yes.
Involuntary yoga, and you're going to fold your laundry with you in it.
Yeah, probably. Going to go to this gym and get strangled by everyone there. Everyone, including the instructor, will be younger than me. Everybody.
Fantastic. Yeah. So, Oscar, you're retired, so you're feeding squirrels and stuff now. So, and working on the wife's dog. So you don't have like you don't have like a business or anything. I'm
not in the dog business. I do contract work for the government and other agencies. I do a lot of their background investigation and that kind of thing. But
somebody else I know does that and says it's a pretty good gig.
It's easy work. It's easy work, and it supplements whatever I lost if I was completely working. So I'm good. I don't have the need to, get more gray than I already am.
Yeah, you and me both. That's why I don't have a beard, because that bitch is Santa Claus.
All right, on Eric, where are you at on everything? Well,
Just Van S Canine, and go to Amazon. Look up my name. My name's right there on the bottom. Buy my book. I looked. I sold 7 copies today, so it does okay. I would like it to do better, but I had dinner with an older couple that are friends of ours, parents, amazing people, and the husband has written 5 books probably, and he was like, I said, I sell about 10 copies a day. He was like, oh my gosh. And this guy was in on the ground floor of the Special Operations Air Wing, the 160th. He was not a pilot. He helped stand it up. He went to Congress. He went and met with SecDef way back in the day, and he was in that side of it. And he's got amazing stories. He was a Green Beret in Vietnam and everything. I could listen to that guy talk forever. And so he's written 5 books, and they're all really cool. Some history, some were like fiction based off of history, like novels. But so I shouldn't complain, but I do want that book to make me more money. So a couple $1,000 a month I make, though. So it's okay.
It's not. Yeah. I'm at Torchlight Canine, Torchlight Pets. If you want to see all the pet dogs, we got a ton in right now. I don't mess with them. All the girls mess with them. So, yeah. And then HRD, we've got July 1st budgets reset. So I think we've like 7 or 9 departments in a holding pattern right now waiting for budgets. So here in about a week, we'll have more HRDs set up, ready to go. Outside of that,
well, I do leave Sunday for New Mexico doing my e-collar seminar, and then I come back for a few days for 4th of July weekend, and then off to Africa for 10 days for a safari. Me, my wife, and my youngest daughter. We're super stoked about that, dude.
see water buffaloes and zebras.
Yeah, watch some lions kill some shit. That'll be fun.
Right on. Well, Oscar, this has been good, man. I'm glad you came on, and I appreciate it for sure.
I appreciate you guys, man. Be doing what you're doing. I really enjoy your podcast.
Hopefully we get to see you in person.
Yeah, for sure.
One day. Yeah, for sure.
Right on. Thanks, guys. We'll see you on the next one.